Welcome to the EDGE New User Series Conversion QA. In this video, we'll cover the database conversion process, the importance of the QA process, and QA process details. Before we begin, keep in mind that the conversion process is a partnership. You know your old data, and we want to get it converted into the EDGE to serve you best. To do so, we'll need your help providing samples, answering questions, and checking our work. This video is primarily about checking our work. We need you to get the best results possible from the data you provide us. How the conversion process works. Before we embark on a conversion, we will examine your current database and let you know what the likely outcome will be. If you agree to move forward, we'll send a contract for you to authorize the work and agree to the time required to complete it. The clock starts after we receive the signed contract. The receipt of the signed contract is the signal for our programmers to start the project. You will be asked to create a few test records in your current system and produce sample receipts and reports. These test records help us understand your system better and are checkpoints during the process. We'll perform a preliminary conversion and do an internal quality check. Then we'll send you the preliminary EDGE database for your quality review. After you sign the acceptance form at the end of the checklist and a go-live date is set, we'll pull your current database and run it through the conversion process, producing your production EDGE database. You will then be ready to use the EDGE with your new database. The importance of checking our work. We would have first QA'd the database for reasonableness. It would have passed our test, but it's incumbent on you to fully scrutinize the results. Unfortunately, we are limited by the quality of data we are working with, and sometimes the best we can do is produce a database that will need a few hours of human involvement to get it to the best starting point. Our objective is to leave you with a database that is integrally sound and in a condition that you can be confident will make the most of the EDGE's powerful features. Please do your due diligence in testing the database. Any error discovered after you have been using the database may result in a reconversion and extra work capturing the activity entered into the system up to that point. The rest of this video will outline how to perform a preliminary database check. Note that the preliminary database is not to be used as your actual EDGE database. It is intended for you to check our work and make sure your customer, item, and transaction records are accurate. But feel free to use it for practice while you wait for your production database. Performing a quality check on the preliminary database. Using the Conversion QA checklist as a guide and record, go through all the converted record types and check the data. The data should match that contained in the database you gave us at the beginning of the conversion. Note that everything in the checklist may not be included in your conversion. See page 1 for a list of what we're converting from your old database. Note that as you go through the QA process, the EDGE user guide and online help contain step-by-step instructions for these tasks. So follow along for the quality assurance process. For general data, find out how many customers are in your database by going to Customer, Find, and reviewing the results. This should match the number of customers contained in the database you gave us for conversion. If you can, provide a reason for the discrepancy. If you cannot, do not check Accept. To find the number of items in inventory, go to Reports, Inventory, In Stock by Category. On the Type and Status tab, check all inventory types and check In Stock. On the Options tab, uncheck Show Details. Run the report and go to the last page for the total. For cost of inventory, go to Reports, Inventory, In Stock by Category. Be sure to select In Stock from the Type and Status tab and Show Cost from the Options tab. Go to the last page for the total cost. For number of vendors, go to Inventory, Vendors, Find, and look at those results. Now we'll check the contents of a sampling of customer records. Go to Customer, Find, and enter a known customer's last name and first initial. Locate the customer from the results and double-click to open the record. Verify the following for each customer: title, name, address, phone, alternate phone, email, spouse's name, and gender. From the Occasions area, check the anniversary date, birthday, spouse's birthday, and date entered. From Notes and Special Fields, look for any data that you indicated in the planning documents that should be here. Do this for at least 6 customer records. For the Sales Activity section, check some sales transactions to make sure they appear as before. From the Activity tab of a customer record, select a sale and select See Sale. Check that the sold price is correct, that the sales tax is accurate, that the correct payment was collected, and that the customer information on the receipt is accurate. Now we'll check your inventory records. For fine items, the Edge keeps a record for each individual piece. To check these records, go to Inventory, Item, Find. From the Find filter, enter an old item number in the Old Item Number field. It is probably a good idea to start with an in-stock item. You can narrow results as needed. For at least 10 items, open individual records and check the vendor ID, vendor style number, and the date it was entered into your system. For pricing fields, go to Supervisor and Show Hidden Fields and check Cost, Recost, Lowest, Current, Retail, and Sold. Check the stock type. All items should be marked stock except for memo or consignment. Memo or consignment items converted from an old database must have been marked as such in the old database to be marked as such here. Review the description, including metal type and other data and notes fields. Verify stone data if it was included in the conversion. It's very useful to enter this data. The Edge can then find and track items and activity using stone type and characteristics. Verify that images came over correctly as well. If memo and consignment were included in the conversion, open some of those item records and make sure that memo or consignment is indicated. Do an item find, checking the memo and consignment inventory types on the Type and Status tab. Make sure the results are correct. Now we'll check bulk items. Do an item find and filter for bulk items. Then perform similar checks. Vendor ID, vendor style number, and for pricing fields, go to Supervisor and Show Hidden Fields and check Cost, Recost, Lowest, Retail, Current, and Sold if applicable. Go to the Quantities tab and check the bulk type and quantity in stock. Review the description, including metal type and other data and notes fields. Now we'll check items from point of sale. Open the POS screen and select an associate and find a customer. Check to see that the customer data that appears is correct. Select Sell Item. Select Find Item and enter an old number in the Old Item Number field. In the item record that appears, check the selling price and the description. Select Cash for the payment method and complete the sale using the Done button. Check the receipt to verify the selling price of each item, the description of each item, and the total paid as it appears on the receipt. Test other items by doing an item find from POS using other search methods, by vendor style number, by scanning the old barcode, or by other applicable methods. Check these item records as before. Now bring up some bulk items. Do the item find and go to the Type and Status tab to select bulk pricing types. Look up items by vendor style number and by scanning the old barcode. Now we'll check a return. At POS, select an associate and find a customer who has a sold item. Select Return Item and enter the Edge item number. Complete the transaction and press Done. Check to make sure the return was successful and that the sales tax was correct and returned. Then go back and check the item record to make sure it is listed as in stock. You may remember that part of preparation was for you to run some sample reports from your old system. At this time, we'd like to run the analogous Edge reports and make sure the data matches. Data reports that we should look at include Item Summary in Stock by Vendor, Item Summary Sold Last Full Month by Vendor, Item Detail Sold Last Full Month by Vendor, Item Summary Sold Last Full Year, Daily Activity Summary Last Full Month, Daily Activity Detail Last Full Month, Daily Activity Summary Last Full Year. For details on running these reports, see the Edge User Guide. Review the conversion report, which shows inventory that was converted, along with the old item number and new. Go to Reports, Inventory, Conversion. Categories are crucial to getting the most out of the Edge's inventory buying tools. Let's look at those. Understand that categories are not vendors or product lines. They are collections of items with like characteristics. During conversion, we will make an attempt to map your items to the best fitting Edge categories. To check our work, do an item find and select the category you wish to check and review the results. Do this for all categories and make notes about any items that you feel should be elsewhere. This may seem like a lot of effort, but the benefit to using the Edge going forward is well worth it. Notice that sometimes, because of the availability of data from the system, items might be converted to more generic categories. You can move these manually after you receive your final database. You may remember that at the beginning of the process, you provided sample receipts and screenshots of your old system. We'll give you back those examples, and then you can bring up the same samples using the Edge to make sure the new results match what you got from your old system. After you have performed all these tests and accepted items where appropriate, sign off on the conversion checklist and we'll proceed with the final step, preparing your final database. If there are issues, do not sign off, but provide the checklist indicating unaccepted items. We'll work with you from there to resolve these issues. Thank you for viewing the New User Series Conversion Quality Assurance video tutorial. We hope this information was useful in helping you check your preliminary database. For assistance, please feel free to contact us at convert@ajsllc.com.